I don't think I really knew I was growing up in the hood until I was older. I didn't really understand that I was growing up
Yeah, yeah, of
in the
course.
hood or Pleasant Grove until after I left and went to college. So I went to SMU, which is like super rich school, lots of very wealthy students there. And so I was just like, okay, this is different from where I grew up. I didn't realize and I worked like retail, and I'd have some of my classmates coming into the store and like dropping thousands of dollars on like outfits for them and their friends for the weekend, and just
Yeah.
like swiping dad's credit card. And I'm like, dang, I gotta save money for gas and for books and
Yeah.
I was like hustling. I was like, okay, yeah, life is different for some people than it is for me. So
Welcome, you and all, to another episode of the Global Latin Factor podcast, where we talk about Latino everything. Thank you very much for being here. I hope you're enjoying the content. If you are enjoying the content, please do me a solid favor. Go and subscribe right now. It's free. Yes, it is. Support the Latino community on YouTube. Help us grow. Help us spread the message of these amazing, beautiful stories, such as this individual that we have today. Today, we have an educator with over 13 years of experience, founder of Primos Dallas, established in June 2018, where they put in family into practice. Alicia Serrato en la casa. Hola.
Hey.
How you doing?
Good. I'm happy to be here. Yeah.
Thank you very much for taking the time to come out and share a little bit of your story and what you got going on.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing. I wish I had more about your introduction, but I mean, you stay busy and doing different things. So I'm glad that I'm going to get to learn more about you today and your organization.
Yeah, happy to share.
Awesome. But first, we're going to continue with a segment that I like to call Preguntas al Chile. Preguntas al Chile right now. Working in new graphics.
Preguntas al Chile.
Audio. Will be coming soon. Stay tuned. Tacos o tortas?
I was thinking about this. Tacos are a good go-to. It's easy. Pero si me dan una torta enchilada, like a torta como un pambazo,
Yeah.
I gotta go for la torta.
She threw a
Yeah,
curveball.
yeah.
Pambazo. What? Corn tortilla or flour tortilla?
I think corn, but if it's homemade, it's flour.
It's flour.
Yeah.
Awesome. Gorditas or sopes?
Gorditas.
Nice. Jarritos or Mexican coca?
La coca mexicana.
La coca mexicana.
Pero de México,
Pero de Merito, México. No de aquí. I'm just kidding. Agua de horchata, Jamaica or tamarindo?
Horchata.
Horchata.
Yeah.
Yes. Anti-Jamaica.
Oh, okay.
I like hibiscus.
Yeah.
Agua. No spa water, por
Yeah.
favor.
Spa water.
Spa water. Salsa verde o salsa roja?
De las dos. I can't discriminate.
Yeah, true that. I'm team salsa verde, but you're right. I just, as long as it has some picante.
Yeah. It's gotta be
That's
spicy.
what it is. It's a law. I'll get arrested if I don't put both in. I'm just saying.
My family, we eat habaneros.
Really?
We're from Yucatan, so we're spicy.
Okay, so do you eat them just like that, or do you chop them up or cook them, or how do you eat
Así
them?
rostizado, and then you take little bits of it, but you can also make salsa.
You know what gallitos are?
Gallitos.
Okay, so you cut off the habaneros or manzanillo, and then you cut them up. You got to wear gloves because they're super spicy. You cut up some onions, and you soak them on limon.
Oh,
With
okay,
some sal.
Yeah.
Man, they're so freaking spicy, but they're so good.
Yeah.
They're fire. I don't know about habaneros. I think they're a little bit about, it's just as spicy as habaneros.
Yeah.
But man, that's crazy. Churro, pozole or menudo?
Pozole.
Churros or flan?
Flan.
Valentina, Tapatio, Cholula, or Tabasco hot sauce?
What's that one? Wait, say them again?
Valentina, Tapatio, Cholula, or Tabasco?
Oh, la Valentina. Yeah.
Valentina? Yeah.
I was thinking of another one.
There's another one
The San
called
Luis? La San Luis. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Yeah.
And there's another one, Botanas or something like this. Somebody was telling me.
Yeah.
I need to change the order of it. Maybe on the next one, you'll have a new order.
Add some more in there. Yeah.
Right? Conchitas, the brown ones, white ones, or the pink ones?
White.
White ones. Okay. And again, this one's totally different. We like to entertain the nonfiction part. Una conspiracy that you heard one time that when you heard it, it's like, that has to be true. Or it could have a very strong possibility of being true? What could that be?
We were just talking about my husband's pueblo a while ago, Santiago Marabatío.
Yeah, saludos.
Que there's, stories of there being ghosts around the town and people seeing things all the time, which is a lot of people that have like the same stories and stuff. So I think it has to be a little true, I don't know if that's much of a conspiracy. It's just like cuentos or what, but I for sure like believe some of the stories from his pueblo. People have seen things.
I don't want to freak people out, but sometimes things pass, and I think there's some weird stuff.
Yeah.
I heard stories about like people seeing them, not under the influence, not on nothing.
Yeah.
And they get to see something. They
Yeah.
can't really
or you
explain.
feel like something. I think, so my dad passed away when I was 17, and I think we feel him in our house sometimes, and we think our kids have seen him before when they were little, So I do believe in that stuff. I don't know if it's so much conspiracy, but I do believe in like spirits and stuff.
I'm very sorry for your loss,
Yeah.
but I really feel like there is things like that that
Yeah.
people sense, especially kids. They get to see some, though. I mean, people might see it as a conspiracy, que tal loca, but some of the people would be like, man, those are real.
I think it is, yeah.
I think so too. When you hear the word Latino or Latina or Latinx, what immediately first pops into mind?
Family, we're all about family. We put family first. It's part of the reason I've named our organization Primos is because we're all about family. So,
yeah, it's amazing. I like that.
Mhm.
And do you consider yourself Latina? Do you care if they call you Latina? Do you prefer to be Mexican American, Chicana, anything like that? Human being?
Yeah, I'll go with anything. I like me and my cousin, we call ourselves Texicanas because we're Texan, but we're Mexicana. Right. So, we say Texicana sometimes, but yeah, I'm pretty cool with anything. Yeah,
absolutely. See, that's somebody that knows who they are. They don't have to worry about it. I need to stop touching the mic, by the way. My bad. I'll be doing that because sometimes I'll be just moving around too much. Okay, so let's get into your story. So your parents are from?
Yucatan. Yeah.
Have they ever told you how their journey to the United States happened? Did they have a particular story? Did they tell you how they got here?
They've always been real vague about it because I've asked because they're from a city. They're from Mérida and had pretty like decent upbringings, Right. They don't have what you would consider like the typical story of people coming here because they didn't have jobs or something at home. They were, they had jobs set up for them at
Right.
home. So their story is that they came here to honeymoon and they outstayed their tourist visa and just decided to stay because they liked it and got jobs and then eventually had us and that was it. That's what they tell us. I think there's another story back there somewhere that they're not really telling us, but
you have any suspicions?
Yeah.
Do you have any suspicions?
Maybe there was some family drama they were trying to get away from, I think maybe, but they don't totally tell us completely the truth. So I just go with that. Like, they came on a tourist visa and outstayed their visa and then just stayed their honeymoon here. That's what they tell us, but
they wouldn't be the first ones though, to get away from family drama because they don't want to see them together or whatever the case might be.
Yeah, something like that. So yeah, but they're I have two older sisters. So my parents got here in the 70s. And then
did they get here in the Dallas area, Pleasant Grove area?
Yeah, they came straight to Dallas. Yeah, stayed in East Dallas, old East Dallas before it turned into what it is now. Old East Dallas is gone now.
What is it now?
There's like there used to be an old Jerry's supermarket over there. Yes. That's gone. Like all those old apartments and stuff that are over there. That whole neighborhood is kind of gone now. So they eventually moved to Pleasant Grove in like the late 80s.
Yeah.
And I was like 2 years old when we moved to Pleasant Grove. So
all your brothers and sisters, your sisters were born here.
Yeah, we were all born here. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How was your upbringing whenever you were coming up in Pleasant Grove when you were little?
I always felt super like supported by my parents, and they always just kind of pushed us and expected us like to go to college and to I don't know, to achieve. I don't think I really knew I was growing up in the hood until I like was older. Like I didn't really understand that I was growing up in the hood or Pleasant Grove until after I left and went to college. So I went to SMU, which is like super rich school, lots of very wealthy students there. And so I was just like, okay, this is different from where like I grew up. I didn't realize like how different it was until I left the neighborhood. So I always felt safe and happy in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
But then I came to realize, I was like, oh, I grew up in the hood. Yeah, okay.
What were the clues that gave it away that you make it seem like you were in maybe the hood that
You
you would say?
know, I mean, I did know people that like were in gangs and stuff. I didn't hang out. You know, I didn't do any of that messy stuff. I was too much of a nerd to get involved in all that. But yeah, I mean, just houses look different there than they look in North Dallas and Highland Park, which is where I spent all my time in college, like around that area. And then just realizing people had different things. Like when I went to college, I had to work full time, pretty close to full time. And I worked like retail, and I'd have some of my classmates coming into the store and like dropping thousands of dollars on like outfits for them and their friends for the weekend, and just like swiping dad's credit card. And I'm like, dang, I gotta save money for gas and for books and for, you know, I was like hustling. I was like, okay, yeah, life is different for some people than it is for me. So
how do you manage through school? So of course your parents are very supportive. They want you to go to school. You say you were a nerd, so I'm guessing you like books. Did you know about the resources to get, I don't know if you got any scholarships, or were you actually able to get loans to be able to go to school?
Yeah, it was a mix of everything. I got some grants, some loans, some scholarships, a little bit of everything. And my dad passed away before my senior year in high school. So it was just me and my mom trying to figure it all out. My older sisters were gone and out of the house by then. And so we were just trying to figure it out ourselves. And I was working full time, close to full time when I was in college, and just figuring out ways to pay for things. I had to pay for my own car and pay for my own insurance. And I just remember being in college feeling very, very privileged to be there. Like I was just like, man, I have to take advantage of the time that I have here and the opportunity that I have here, because a lot of kids in my neighborhood didn't end up going to school, or they didn't take advantage of that opportunity right then. I just remember walking around on campus being like, man, I'm here. Like, I can't believe I'm here. I got to make the most of this. And like, just hustled. Like I didn't party in college. Like I went to class, I went to work, and I went home, and I was in the library. That's like all I did. So I was very much a nerd when I was in college. But my husband and I, we were high school sweethearts, and so we did it together. You know, like he was at UTD and I was at SMU, and I think we were just each other's support systems, and we made it through. We ended up graduating early, both of us, and it was just a lot of hustling during that time, I remember.
It's wild to me that you think you were privileged, even though you've seen working retail, some of those people didn't had it easier from you, but still you saw the other side of the coin. It's just like, man, I got to get the most of it. I don't know. You just get a little emotional. It's crazy that you see it.
Yeah, I felt very honored and privileged to be in a space where I could just like learn. You know, like it's, you know, I could have easily been like, I don't know, doing something else where I wasn't making, you know, money or having to hustle or work really hard. But I was like, man, I have to really make the most of my time here and like make good grades, learn as much as possible. And I really was thinking like, I have to do this because I have to take it back to my community at some point. Like I have to bring it back, even if it's just, you know, so I can get a good job and be able to sustain myself at some point. But like, I felt very privileged like to be there when I was there.
That's great. And finally, when you get to graduate, what are you working on as far as what kind of degree are you working with?
Yeah, so I graduated with a degree in history and sociology.
Yeah.
And so I did a couple things before I got into education. I did some community organizing and a little bit of social work. And then I found my way to education. So I was a public school teacher with the ISD for 13 years.
Nice.
And then I transitioned into the work I'm doing now with Primos in the nonprofit sector. So
awesome. Yeah. How did it feel let's backtrack just a few. How did it feel whenever you know you went through the things that you went to and actually know that you were going to graduate? When you finally get to that moment when everybody's there and you getting ready to walk the stage, that you're done. How did it feel?
Yeah, I mean, I was cheesing super hard in the pictures. Like, I look back at some of those pictures, I was like, man, I was like cheesing super hard. Yeah, it's funny because my husband and I, we both graduated on the same day. So we went to his graduation first and then went to mine. And I don't know, just seeing our parents, like his parents and my mom and like our siblings and stuff, just like we were the first to do it in our families. You know, both of us were the first to do it. So, yeah, it just felt like a huge relief. It's like, man, those 3.5 years flew by, but it was a lot of work. It was a lot of struggle, a lot of time. We would spend a lot of late nights in the library, or I was working the night shift sometimes at the stores that I was working at. So it's just a lot of hustling. So it felt like a relief, but I was just like, man, it's cheesing super hard in all of our pictures.
Was there any emotional happening in regards to like being emotional? Because, unfortunately your dad didn't get to see that, but you put in the work. Your mom was there supporting you the whole time, and y'all got to the finish line.
Yeah. I think I definitely would have loved to see my dad there. And, I've had moments in my whole life where, like, when we got married, when we had kids and stuff, like, I think he definitely would have been proud of the things I've done so far. He's also, I remember my dad being, like, super, like, criticón también. It's like, oh, but maybe your grades could have been a little higher. Or, how dads can be
Yeah.
tough like that.
Yeah.
Like, they keep you motivated. So, I think I always have my dad, like, in the back of my head sometimes
That's amazing.
when I'm trying to do things. So
That's awesome. And then you begin to finally you find a school, and you're being a teacher now. But where the idea of Primos comes to be? Is it Primos already? Is the name already established? Or do you just feel like you need to do something? Were there other things that you were doing leading up to Primos?
yeah, I was probably like 9-10 years into my career, where I started to notice, like, a lot of the students that I was teaching, like, were really drawn to me, because they knew I grew up in Pleasant Grove. They knew that my parents are Mexican, that I'm first gen, and they're like, "Miss, how did you do it? Like, how'd you pay for school? How'd you get through it? Like, how did your parents let you go to school?" Like, I just would hear that a lot from students. And actually, one of the last high schools I taught at, we were doing, like, something for Hispanic Heritage. And so for Hispanic Heritage Month, I, like, lined up speakers for, like, a whole week. So I have friends with cool jobs. So I had someone that was, like, an actress and, like, a psychologist and a lawyer and, like, some, like, public servants and stuff coming through and just, speaking to our kids at our school.
Awesome.
And the kids were just like, "Man, Miss, like, I've never seen so many, like, Latinos with, like, cool jobs. Like, your friends have cool jobs." I'm like, "I know, my friends have cool jobs, right?" And so it just started to click to me, like, I need to put both of these worlds together, like, kids that are eager and want to learn from people that look like them, and my friends that have cool jobs. Like, I need to put these two worlds together. And so I was really actually inspired a lot by the African American community. Mentoring is such a big thing in the Black community. Like, I don't think I had a single student in high school whose parents didn't already have a mentor lined up for them that was African American.
Wow.
Like, they just like, "No, I know there's things I can't teach my kid, so I need someone else to mentor my kid." It's a very strong part of the culture in Black culture to have, like, mentors for kids. So I was inspired by that, inspired by, like, seeing my kids struggling and wanting to learn. And then, like, okay, I got friends with cool jobs. So I was like, all right, let me start working on putting something together here. And so we started doing focus groups with educators, with students, with people in the community, and saying, like, what is something that we need? Like, what do we see missing in our community? And we came up with this mentoring thing. And we wanted to center it around this idea of, like, family and family taking care of family, right? Like, you're adopting, like, this person into your family and taking care of them. So that's where we came with the word primos, right? It's cousin in Spanish.
In
And
Spanish.
so, yeah, so it's this idea of, like, I'm taking on this cousin. And like, there's, like, a little bit of that culture in us. Like, you call people your cousin even though they're not really your cousin. Like,
I had that going on.
Like, "Oh, primo," like, you'd say that a lot.
Yeah.
And I have people that I call primo. They're not my cousins, So that's that whole, like, familiarity, like, that loving relationship that you can have with someone. That's where that word primo came from. And again, it's a super strong concept in Black culture too. Like, they call each other cousin even if they're not cousins, and it's like that familiarity, that love that people have for one another to uplift each other. That's kind of where it all came from. So it's a little bit from my own experience, like, struggling through things, but then also seeing my kids struggling through things, and all of it kind of just came together. So
yeah, I like the cousin part because when I was in high school or after high school, I had a friend that he was his sister was married to my uncle. So we just like, what are y'all? Y'all related? Like, that's mi primo.
Yeah.
To this day, shout out to my primo Jesse.
Yeah.
To this day, you still, hey, primo. And we started a little group called Primos too. So we were always called primos.
Yeah.
Back in the day, we had the tendency to want to be not gang members, but we were like little cliques. So primo, the primo clique.
Yeah.
That's what we call ourselves.
Yeah, we're too cool for everybody else. Yeah.
So that's pretty interesting because it's true. A lot of us call each other primos. Say prima, primo, ¿qué pasó?
Yeah.
So it's pretty awesome.
Our VP, Diana, we grew up together, and she's actually, like, my god sister. Like, my parents are her padrinos.
Yeah.
So we grew up together, but explaining to everybody like what a god sister is, and like especially like white people, they don't know what that is, right? And so we're just like, she's my cousin.
She's my cousin.
We always just say cousins, and we're not cousins, but we always call, oh, my cousin's coming, or my cousin's gonna come see me, or so now she helped me start Primos. Her background is in advertising and marketing, and so she really brought the business side of things and the establishing our brand and all of that, and so we've kind of built this thing together.
Awesome. Okay, so after the focus group, you come with everything. She helps you out to get everything started. So what is your first task? What do you have to do?
Yeah, so we first established a board. We got board members together, so people that were interested in building it up. And my husband actually serves on the board. He served on the board since the beginning. And so our first task was getting that first group of kids. So I recruited kids that I knew that I think could benefit from having a mentor. And then we all gathered up our closest friends and closest people that we can think of that would be good mentors. And we trained the mentors. We got them together, paired them up with kids, and started that first cohort. Our first cohort was like 25 kids. And so we've grown a lot. Like now we're doing 85 kids in our cohorts. And our goal is to get to 100 per year. So but yeah, that was kind of our first thing, was like getting that first cohort of like mentors and mentees together.
Awesome. And then you also had some help for different people that came around, such as the pro bono attorneys that came and helped you out to get the actual organization set up correctly.
Yeah. So we've been blessed with like a lot of good team members over the years. We've had people that were experts in finance. We have had other people that are experts in like law and education and counseling and all these different fields that, because my background's in education, my strength is education, and so we wanted to be sure to surround ourselves with people that could help build this thing with us. And so we got our legal status, our 501c3 status established, and try to get our finances straight. And we're always, whenever we bring on new board members, we try to bring people with strengths that can help build the organization and head us in the right direction. So
awesome. And then you said earlier something about preparing or getting the mentor, training them. How does that entail? What does that go? What is the process to getting them?
Yeah, so I created a curriculum to help train our mentors. So we, train them on things on like communicating with teenagers, understanding the teenage brain and how teenagers behave. We teach them how to communicate with parents. One of our main training modules, though, is over avoiding a savior mentality. So we want our mentors to come in as kind of like partners with their mentee and not so much of like a savior. Because not all saviors are white. Sometimes, we can act as saviors to our own people. And so we really talk to them about how to coach kids and how to, help them come up with their own ideas and build up their own things. So we teach them how to ask powerful questions. But yeah, we want to be intentional with how these adults interact with our kids, right? Like, don't come in here and belittle them, make them feel like they don't know anything, like you're the only powerful one in the relationship. No, you're a guide. You're here to help them, to guide them, to ask them questions, to motivate them. But you're not like this powerful like being coming in and like fixing their life for them, right? Because that's not the way to do things. Where they say someone learns more if you like teach them how to fish than to just give them the fish. I think that's a saying, something like that. Yeah. So we really like try to train our mentors on how to support the kids and how to help build them up so that they're not just coming in and like trying to fix their lives for them. Because kids, they can tell when someone is acting superior to them or is trying to fix their lives for them. So we were real intentional about how our mentors interact with our kids.
Why was there one of the focus to be make sure you don't have that savior? Why did you say it was going to be troublesome if going forward they didn't address it immediately?
Yeah, I think unfortunately in my career as a teacher, I've seen a lot of that. I've seen a lot of teachers belittle students and say, "Well, no, I'm the one with the degree, so I know better." And I've had a lot of amazing educators that I've worked with too, but I've unfortunately seen that where like people look down on kids or say, oh, it's because they're from apartments or they're Mexican or they're from this neighborhood or they're that. That's why they don't know better. That's why their parents don't know better. And so I wanted to completely avoid that altogether. And we've been real lucky to have amazing people. Like these mentors are volunteering their time, and it's time consuming to work with the kid. We expect a lot from them. So they've been really, really good people, amazing people with good hearts that like really just want to share what they know with kids, right? Like, you shouldn't have to struggle through these things. I already did the struggling. Let me help you so you're not struggling in the way I was struggling. So
Yeah.
it's been really cool to see.
And how long is the training for a mentor to be ready to be able to take on a kid? How long is that?
Yeah, so they have to complete some online modules before they come to in-person training. So about a couple hours online, and then we do a 2-hour in-person training too. I think this last year we actually ended up doing 3 hours. And so then after that, we kind of go through like our whole pairing process of being able to match them with a kid that has similar interests. Our kids actually have a say in who their mentor is going to be. It was something we heard from focus groups at the very beginning, that kids wanted to be able to kind of choose who their mentor would be. And so our mentors have to record bio videos, and our kids get to, it kind of sounds like a dating app. I promise it's not a dating app, but our kids get their top 3 choices and they get to watch videos of those 3 mentors and then say, hey, I think I could really vibe with this person. I want this person to be my mentor. Not a perfect system, but I think we've done pretty well at matching people with kids that, you know, have similar interests, or like we've even come down to things like, oh, we're both from Zacatecas, so you know, we can relate on that point, or I'm really interested in being a nurse, and so this mentor's a nurse, so that's a matching, you know. So we'll find different ways to match them, and it's important to us because we want it to be successful. So
Okay, so I was hearing that the screening process, I don't know if it's screening or whatever, but maybe a survey that the students get to take. And then, of course, the mentors get to take similar. And I'm guessing that's how you kind of sort of narrowed it down to a few that might be of interest and a match to whoever the mentee is. Is that kind of how it works for you?
Yeah. So the interests are anything from books to movies to music to, you know, like hobbies, that kind of stuff. And then we give space for students to put different fields of interest that they may have. So if I'm interested in engineering, you know, like maybe we'll have a mentor that's an engineer. That would be a good match. So.
Thank you so much for checking out this full episode of the Global Latin Factor podcast. Make sure you go and subscribe. Leave us a thumbs up. Leave us a comment that you were here today. Thank you very much. Till next time.
But we'll match in according to different things. And, you know, again, it's not a perfect system. Sometimes a mentor and a mentee won't click, and so we'll make adjustments if we have to. But I think we've had a lot of great relationships come out of our matching.
Yeah, because I've seen even from one of the interviews with one of your mentees that you had first about 5 years ago. One of the videos that I've seen, even maintain communication even after high school, getting ready for college.
Yeah. So we ask our students and our mentors to stay with us for multiple years. Research really shows that a mentoring relationship takes about 3 years to develop. And so we've had students that have been with us 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years now. And yeah, they have like become family. Like they check up on each other. Like we have kids that are like going to mentors, like weddings, meeting their kids. You know, like at first they were just single, now they're married with kids, and so like. And now we have kids that are graduating college, and so it's really beautiful to see like this growth together. Like they've really become a part of each other's families.
Yeah, I seen a video also when you were first getting started that you were breaking down kind of sort of how the layout or how the program was going to be, and that was about 5 years ago. Moving forward to 2024, how much has it changed? How much has evolved? How much did y'all learn as far as the way that y'all were doing stuff compared to the way that y'all do it now?
Yeah, I think we just do a whole lot more now. So we wanted to really like build up our mentoring program at the beginning, and really like perfect that as much as possible. And then we started like hosting events for our mentors and mentees to attend, so they had something to do together and kind of like this safe space. And that has really evolved into like this curriculum right now. So now we focus on like college readiness, career readiness. We even focus on a little bit of life readiness, you know, like goal setting and financial literacy. We now have like this whole parent program too, where we're kind of building parent skills around all of those same topics. So now we kind of started with just mentoring, and then eventually we started holding monthly events. Now it's more like bi-monthly events. And so our events are not just for our students in our mentoring program, they're open to the wider public now. So, you know, we're able to serve more students beyond just our mentoring program. So we do things like I was talking to you about earlier. We did a networking 101 event where we taught kids how to network. We brought in young professionals that did a workshop with our kids and allowed them to, learn how to network, how to talk to people.
Right.
We take kids on college trips. We're doing a corporate office visit with MoneyGram here in a couple months. Just a lot more that we're doing now. And we're really informed by like what our students and parents want.
Mm-hmm.
So if they ask for it, we put it together. One example is that we heard a lot of fears from parents about their kids going off to college.
Mm-hmm.
They were having a hard time letting go. Like we had a kid that got into Cornell and his mom was like, but there's a school down the street. Why does he have to go all the way to New York? And I'm like, because it's Cornell. That's why. Like this dude got a full ride to Cornell. And so we hosted like a panel for parents where we had experienced parents on the panel that had allowed their kids to go off to school and had allowed their kids to go off to college. And they were able to kind of like talk through some of those fears. That's something that we developed directly from hearing our parents talk about that topic. So, I feel like we're just doing a whole lot more now. We're not just a mentoring organization. We do a lot of programming beyond that now.
Where did you see that the developing the parents will be more beneficial in the future? Because, if for whatever reason y'all part ways, something happened, or maybe you just outgrow each other, that the mentor-mentee is just not going to keep going. Why did you incorporate the parents to develop them and build them?
Yeah, I think we would hear a lot from our students that like, man, I wish my mom understood me. I wish my mom understood my decisions and what I was doing. And so just kind of helped us realize like we need to be bringing parents into our workshops and developing workshops specifically for our parents. Because if you build up parents, you build up an entire community, right? Like if they become informed, they start informing their neighbors and their siblings and their cousins and stuff. And so it's like you have like this, almost like viral effect where like you teach them and they want to teach everybody else around them. Whereas kids, sometimes they're surviving and they could learn something and they take it for themselves. But it's something about when you teach parents something, they want to share that with everybody. Like you said, if that kid moves on and feels self-sufficient, well, that parent can, almost push our education even further. And I think it's really strengthened our organization to have parents be involved. We now really encourage our mentors to develop a relationship with the parent as well, so that they can have a more holistic view of what's going on with the kids. So it's something that we're emphasizing more and more each year.
Yeah. What is most of concerns about? I don't know if even Mexicanos, Latinos kind of understand what mentoring is, what's the benefit of it. What is the more pushback that you receive as far as like, what are you doing? Like, what exactly is this? Or I don't understand it, but why are my kids going to be there?
It was a little bit of that going on. Like, I don't understand why this person needs to talk to my kid. Or I don't understand. Like, we try to train our mentors to tread carefully. Like you may have, even though you're all Latino, you may have very different beliefs from the parent, right? Like, you don't want them to think like, oh, well, I'm trying to force your kid to go to school somewhere else, or I'm trying to force your kid to go this way. And so, like, that's why including the parents is super important to be a part of all that decision making. But yeah, I think a lot of like the fear that comes from parents is not understanding why this adult wants to, like, why does this adult want to talk to my kid? Why are they giving their time? Are you paying them to do this? Like we've even heard that a little bit. Like, so we have, had to teach parents about like why, having like this outside help is so important. I have kids. My kids are little. They're, 9 and 7. And I feel like they listen to their teachers more than, like they hear their teacher say something, and we could have said that last week, but it's something about hearing it from their teacher that like, oh, suddenly it makes so much sense, like,
right.
And I think teenagers are that way too, like their parents could be telling them, échale ganas, do this, work hard at this. But then when they hear it from someone else, it's like they're reinforcing that for you, like they hear that and they're like, oh, it makes sense now. And so I think parents feel like, oh, so you're here to back me up. You're here to help me out. I'm like, yeah, we're here to back you up, but we're also here to back your kid up. So, yeah.
Because a lot of the times it'd be like, as much as you, like you said, even though your kids, they don't listen, but your teacher would, it's like for whatever reason, if hear from another authority figure, that they kind of sort of get it.
Yeah.
And then even though it's always a weird dynamic between parents and kids, that sometimes you need an outside perspective to be able to kind of sort of like mitigate and kind of help them out, to guide them, to make sure that like the parent understands we're not we're on your side. We want to
Yeah.
make sure we want the best for the kid. But
Yeah.
he's just not able to open up for you because you're the parent and for whatever. the
Yeah, like we
reason.
both have the same goal, right? We
Yeah,
want the best
yeah.
for this kid. And so yeah, that like lack of communication between parents and kids, like I think it happens to anybody, right? When you're a
Yeah.
teenager, my parents just don't understand me. Like, oh, they drive me crazy, and the parents are like, man, this kid is crazy. He wants to do all this crazy stuff.
Right.
So one of our board members, she's actually a licensed counselor. And so she did a workshop for her parents about the teenage brain and understanding, like, why is my teenager so crazy? Why does my teenager have all these crazy ideas? And so she talks to them about brain development and, like, you know, why they have, you know, like, you know, why they behave the way they do. It's like all about their brain development at that time. Their frontal lobe is like developing.
Right.
And so, like, now that we know that about your kids, like why they're exhibiting these behaviors, it's typical teenage behaviors. Like, what should you do to be able to communicate with them? What are things that you can do to, you know, bridge that communication between you and your kid? And so we had parents that like left that train. They're like, man, I've really been messing up. Like, I didn't understand why my kid acted this. Now I understand. And so, like, we're like, well, it's not about, you know, making you realize you've been messing up. It's just like going forward. Like, what can you do differently? How can you talk to kids differently?
That's powerful.
Yeah,
Big
yeah.
time.
You know, like I have a ton of experience working with teenagers, so I know how to talk to them. You know, I know how to get them to understand or listen to. A lot of teenagers don't feel like they're heard, and so like teaching parents that and understanding those skills, I think has been real powerful and help building that communication between them and their kids.
Yes, awesome. Earlier, you said something in regards to whenever you're preparing the mentors about how to certain words or how to speak to them. What did that consist of? What exactly is that? What is the right way to address the kid, and what is the wrong way to address the kid?
Yeah, so we talk a lot about like, you know, if a kid comes to you with like a problem, right? Like we do this scenario where we say that there's this kid that we come up with this scenario, which is a pretty real scenario. Like we've come across it before, but there's this kid that like is super involved in school, like hardworking, applying for college, but he's broke, right? And he don't know how he's going to pay for all his senior dues. He don't know how he's going to do it. So he comes to his mentor and said, hey, what should I do? You know, like I'm broke, but I got all this stuff. I'm thinking about getting a job. Like, what should I do? And so we tell mentors, like, you could be a savior in that moment, right? And fix their problem. Be like, here's the money. I got you covered. Or let me get you a job. You know, I'll line you up with the job. I got you covered. Or don't do this, don't do that, or do this. What we teach them is like, ask them questions about that scenario. Like, what is it that you want to accomplish this year? How are you going to be able to do that? If you got a job, what would your week look like? How would that get in the way of your goals? So we teach them to coach. Like, you be a coach with that kid, and they will come to their own decision just based off your questions. Like, my mentor does that to me all the time. Like, I meet with my mentor, and I'm like, man, I'm really struggling with this. And she just starts asking me questions. And by the time I realize, I'm like, dang, like, I just answered my own problem. Like, all she did was ask me questions. And so we really try to teach them to, it's almost like how you interact with them, right? Like, don't just fix their problems for them. Like, because if you just give them that money or you line them up with that job, next time when they come, it's not going to be the first time they have money problems, right? We all have money problems all the time. So the next time they have money problems, they're going to be able to think through that for themselves and come up with their own solutions. So, like, you're a coach, right? You're not just here to solve their problems for them. So again, you're not a savior. You're here to guide them. You're here to, you know, make it through these situations, but you're not saving them from themselves, right? So
I love that concept. Maybe it's the first time I hear. Maybe I heard the term before, but for whatever reason, it never clicked on me that could be that instead of like you're not helping them, you're helping them, but very shortly, you just like putting a Band-Aid on it instead of setting them up for, like you said, teach them how to fish instead of giving them a fish, and set them up for better in the long run.
And I tell mentors, I'm like, if your instinct is to want to help them out and give them that money, it's because you're a good person. You know, like you have an amazing heart. But think about how much more they'll learn from the situation if you help them figure out how to get out of it, right? How to solve that problem on their own. And so, yeah, like it takes a lot of practice to get to that point and be able to do that. And I really guide mentors throughout the year. We have monthly meetings. If they ever need to have a one-on-one, they just set it up with me and we kind of talk through some situations that they have going on. A lot of it's like, I don't know if this kid really likes me. He won't answer my texts, or I don't know, you know. And so like I help them through a lot of that. But yeah, so I want to set them up in a way to be as successful as possible with their kids.
What are the pushbacks that you receive, whether it be from the kids or from the parents, as to why it would be beneficial if they had mentors to guide them through different things in life?
Yeah, I don't know that we get a ton of pushback. Our kids elect to be in the program.
Mm-hmm.
So when we go recruit kids, we talk to them about like what mentoring is and, how you could benefit from it and if they've ever had something like that before. And so we really talk to them about that. And so when kids sign up, it's like they want to be a part of it. We will have occasionally like, mom signed me up for this and I don't know if I really want to do this, like that happens sometimes, or like my tia signed me up for this and I don't really know what this is about. I think like just the awkwardness of meeting someone and developing a relationship with them at the very beginning, it can kind of be, it can be a little difficult to get through that stage sometimes, but once they get to like a more comfortable place, like I think it blossoms from there. So
that's great.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 questions. Is it usually in English? Is it Spanish? Is it both sometimes? Is it dependent? Because I know maybe the parents speak only Spanish. Because I've seen some of the videos, all they do. They don't understand it kind of sort of, but now they get it more, but it's Spanish speaking.
Yeah.
So how do you maneuver that?
Yeah, so we offer our parent workshops in a bilingual setting, right? So we can offer them in English and Spanish. Some of our mentors speak English. Some of them, all of our mentors speak English. Some of them speak Spanish. Some of them don't. But it's interesting how like kids can always be that that bridge between those two worlds. Sometimes, I grew up translating for my parents. Sometimes I'm sure you grew up translating for your parents. We all did that.
Even papers, I didn't understand what they were saying. ¿Qué dice?
This is so stressful.
No sé. ¿Por qué no sabes si vas a la escuela? No sé.
Yeah, I remember going to appointments with my dad with like his like surgeon and like having to translate stuff for him. I'm like, I don't know what I'm saying.
I feel you on that so much.
But yeah, so we communicate with the parents in our community in English and Spanish, and so yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then my other question was, it left me. But anyways, that was one of them. Okay, we're gonna move on because it's gone.
No worries.
Okay, so how do you go about and recruiting the kids nowadays? Because the parents, when you were preparing the parents, you noticed that by default the parents realized how important it was, and they were referring you people. However, or referring you kids. Where else do you go about? How do you decide to take in a mentee? Do you turn anybody down for whatever reason? I don't know if they have a criminal record, whatever the case might be. They're still good kids, they might be misguided, but how do y'all go about that?
Yeah, so we have partnered with several different high schools in DISD and other charter districts. So we have strong relationships with a couple of schools, and then we'll attend a lot of community events, recruit kids in that way. Actually, students are our best recruiters. They'll tell their friends, like, I joined Primos last year and it was really cool. Like, you should join this year. So our kids can be our best recruiters sometimes. So, yeah, I mean, we just have built relationships with schools. We are trying to be a bigger presence in the community. We do focus on the Pleasant Grove area. It's where I grew up. So it's the 75217 and 75227 zip codes that we focus on. But we do accept kids from other parts of the city, too.
DFW, too?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then what about the mentors? How do y'all go about that process, too?
Yeah. So mentors, like I said at the beginning, we just went with our friends and then friends of friends. And then we kind of exhausted our network in that way. We started hosting like recruiting events. And then we started really connecting with a lot of employee resource groups. So like Children's Hospital, for instance, has an HOLA employee resource group. So it's like a Hispanic organization within children. So for Hispanic employees of Children's Hospital are part of this employee resource group. So like Texas Instruments has that. Different hospitals have that. Different banks have that. Uber has an organization called Los Ubers. So
Really?
yeah, so like
that.
Latino employees within Uber can join that. So Uber has their corporate office here.
Yeah.
So we started presenting to a lot of these employee resource groups and recruiting mentors directly from companies that way. And then actually like during the pandemic, because the pandemic hit during our second year, it actually kind of we got better during the pandemic. I know a lot of people struggled during the pandemic, but we got better. I think like our marketing and our social media side of things really strengthened during that time. And so people are finding us online now. Like people will move to Dallas from other parts of the country They'll get here and they'll Google Latino organizations, Dallas, because they want to get involved in something. And we pop up. Our SEO is pretty good. So we pop up towards the top. So people are finding us via like, the internet now, like social media or Instagram and stuff. So we've been told to get more on TikTok, but I think that's more for the kids, So yeah.
That's where the kids are at, though.
Yeah, that's where the kids are. So.
That's where the kids are at now. So that's great.
Yeah.
One of the goals when you first released that video, the layout, the program was scholarships. So it seems that you're now having all the workshops and everything else, but you also have scholarships, correct?
Yeah, we award scholarships. So to date, in our first 5 years, we have awarded $65,000 in scholarships to students.
Wow.
And so that's a mixture of high school and college students. So anywhere between 9th grade and like the end of college, we can award scholarships too. So an underclassman, like a 9th or 10th grader, if they're interested in studying abroad for the summer or going to Harvard for like some kind of debate camp, we can help pay for that kind of stuff through the scholarships. So, and then, like college students obviously use it for tuition and books and stuff. So, we're always raising money for scholarships. We actually have our big 5K coming up in April. It's called Run the Grove.
It's in the videos.
April 6th is our next 5K. So if you're interested in coming out to
Carlos might be interested.
the little plug.
5K, Yeah, of course. Tell us the date. When would that be?
Yeah. So it's April 6th. We're going to be out at the Trinity River Audubon Center. Out there, and then you pay to run a 5K. We'll have a fun run too. We feed everybody. It's a very Latino event, so you come and run, and you get a whole meal. You get water.
Aguas frescas.
We're gonna have Cane's is gonna be there with lemonade this year. We're gonna have elotes and paletas and music and entertainment and fun. It ends up being a real like community feeling kind of fun event. So at the same time, your money's going directly back to kids. So.
And if you're interested in being part of it, where do you go register? Where you sign up for it?
Yeah, so you can visit our website. It's primosdallas.org, and then you should be able to see a little 5K link on there, and it'll take you to our run website.
And then you have to run? Do you have to walk? Do you have to roll?
You could crawl if you want. People show up with their dogs. People show up with their strollers.
Yeah.
We had some very competitive runners this last year, so we have people competitively running. But then we have people that are just out there to have a good time too. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Now you mentioned earlier that it was just passing, but I thought it was hilarious because you said whenever the videos, and then it was not a dating thing. It's not like that whatsoever. Is there any concerns from the parents about like having a different person come in talk to the kids and like it might be a weird situation, or they might think it might be a weird situation, but it's got nothing to do with what y'all think, what y'all doing?
Yeah, so we really prepare our parents for, meeting this mentor, this adult, right? We tell them that there's definitely a vetting process. They have to pass a background check. They're professionals. They're Latino. We meet them. We train them. We vet them. We interview everybody before they even come and step with our kids. And then when they meet for the first time, we actually ask parents to be there. So we host like a big kickoff event where all of our mentors and mentees come, especially the new ones. And the parents are there to meet them that first day. We try to pair female to female and male to male, but sometimes we always end up having more girls than we have boys. So sometimes a female mentee or get paired with a male mentor. But parents are there to meet them. And we tell parents, you allow what you're comfortable with, right? If you need to be there when they meet, then be there when they meet, right?
Absolutely.
If y'all want to all go to lunch together, y'all want to go to a park together, like you do what you feel comfortable with. And then some parents are like, yeah, you can come pick up my kid and take them to the movies. Like some parents are totally like, comfortable with that. And other parents want to be more present. So it's all about what they're comfortable with.
That's awesome. That's amazing. All right. What is the next venture that you're working on as far as moving forward? I know that y'all developed a lot. Y'all grew a lot from like about 5 years or so, 2018 when y'all started, to moving forward. I know, of course, you want to be bigger. You want to have the 100 kids mentoring, but what else moving forward you're trying to get to?
Yeah, so I might surprise you here a little bit. We are a 100% volunteer organization. We don't have any hired staff yet. So all the stuff we do is out of the kindness of our board members and our mentors and our volunteers and everybody that works with us. So we're a completely 100% volunteer organization. And so we've really been developing our fundraising and our grant writing, our connecting with corporate companies to help, raise more funds. So we want to get to the point where we have a full staff. We have our own space in Pleasant Grove. where we can host our workshops, bring our families in. We want to have a really strong presence in Pleasant Grove as this youth development organization. So, we have big plans for the future and what we could be doing in Pleasant Grove.
That's amazing. Are you doing just full-time Primos at this time?
I have a full-time gig on, a full-time job apart from what I'm doing for Primos.
Awesome.
So I know how to fill a plate. Yeah.
Jeez. You've been trained since you went to school how to do everything.
Yeah.
But still, it's amazing.
It's that whole first gen hustle, immigrant. I don't think I know how to stay still. So
yeah.
Yeah. And then I got kids at home too. So, that's a whole nother full-time job with kids and stuff at home.
So as far as sponsorships or any kind of help from corporations, what is that you're looking for to partner up with? Is there a particular one? Anybody that's willing to help to see the vision of what you're doing? Or how is that? What are you looking for?
Yeah, so we're really looking for kind of long-term money, a long-term relationship that we could build with corporations. So a lot of corporations want to come volunteer first. And so we give them opportunities to come volunteer. And then, after that, they want to develop kind of the giving relationship. And so we'll have organizations that give. We've had foundations that give to us too. We're currently looking for 5K sponsors, but we're also looking for sponsors that can help, us long term with bigger money. So
awesome. And what kind of events are you hosting right now to be able to raise funds for the organization?
Yeah, so our big fundraisers are 5K. That's our big spring fundraiser. But beyond that, we don't really host a lot of big fundraising events. Our one big fundraising event is our 5K. Beyond that, we're meeting with foundations, meeting with corporations, writing grants, doing a lot of that. So, yeah.
And if anybody in the general public, anybody watching this video, anybody that sees one of the videos wants to donate because they see what you're doing, they see it's wholesome, they see that it's very helpful for the community and parents, where can they go and make a donation for you?
Directly on our website. It's losprimosdallas.org. We have a little donate button. You could donate there. Our contact information is on our website. So if you want to talk through it a little more carefully, you can set up a meeting with me and we can talk about it.
So I ran into this organization, Charity Water, and they have a system which is more of a subscription type of donation. Okay. I really liked it.
Yeah.
I'm part of it because it's just so easy that how many subscriptions we get that. I'm not telling you what to do, but I'm just saying it was so simple for me to set up a subscription type and just let the monthly recurring donation go.
Yeah, we have that set up on our site. So if you wanted to do a recurring donation, set that up. Yeah.
Sorry, she ahead of the game. That's what I'm talking about. So go subscribe right now.
Yeah.
To Primos. Awesome. So again, we're running short on time, but I appreciate very much all the information you share. I was told about you through Bree, Chingonas Only. We have an episode 2. And I was like, because I'm putting together an event March 9th, 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. here in the Dallas Central. We're going to have an event that I am mostly doing, but Bree helped me a lot. And we're going to do a professionals connecting event, gala, charity gala. I'm going to put the flyer. I'm going to send it to Carlos because I think I'm rearranging the name.
Okay.
But what we're doing is we're raising funds for you and 2 other organizations. Yeah. I'm glad that she told me about you all because you're doing amazing work. And if I have a kid that needs to be guided, I'll be more than happy to refer them to you all.
Send them our way.
And I know that you're going to do an amazing job because I maybe sometimes don't understand the mentoring part. I feel like I didn't need a mentor, but I can see why people, even myself, still need somebody to be able to guide you to tell you if you're messing up, if you're doing the right way, or how can you be better than you are right now.
Actually, I had a mentor tell me, one of my own mentors, that any given point in your life, you should be pouring into someone. So you should be helping someone and you should be learning from someone at the same time. Yeah. So any given point, you should be learning from someone, but also pouring into somebody else.
Yeah. And then I like the part where you're not the savior. I really, really thoroughly like that mentality as far as because even though it's a quick fix immediately, but it's just not as effective as if you were to just, walk them through the process of figuring it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it'll be more beneficial in their future.
Yeah. It's like being, teaching kids how to be self-sufficient, how to take care of themselves at some point.
Yeah. Okay. So what else are the resources, before I let you go, what other resources do you have available for them? Of course, there's the mentoring, but there's other things that you have provide as far as like learning about Networking that we talked about. What else? What else do you have?
Yeah, we have a big career fair that we do in the spring too.
Mm-hmm.
We bring career professionals that host booths and are available to talk to kids about their path and what they do. So we had the same event last year. We had 40 booths, and kids
Wow.
are just able to come and like speak to Latino lawyers, speak to a Latino artist, speak to a Latino entrepreneur. It's just so cool for kids to walk into this building and see like all these career professionals that are all Latino, that all look like them. It's so powerful, for kids to see people that look like them. And so
Sign us up for the next one
yeah.
for the podcasters. I'm just saying.
No,
whatever you need us to do for
I
it,
definitely
let me know.
I'll definitely have you come through.
I want to be able to do something like that too.
Yeah.
As well. I mean, I don't know if I'll be able to be the mentoring. I know I can, but right now my time's kind of constricted.
I'll send you the information for the career fair.
We'll be more than happy to Carlos
Yeah.
volunteer for
signing you up for stuff. Yeah. But yeah, I'll send you that. So
Yeah.
that's another big event we have. And we also partner with other organizations that help us. I'm a plug Volar Texas.
Absolutely.
They're a college counseling organization that we work with. Very small but very powerful in the work they do. And then Community Does It is a mental health clinic in Pleasant Grove, and so we've partnered with them to help develop their youth programming. And so they provide low cost counseling for people in the community. So we refer people to other organizations. We help uplift other organizations. We just, again, the whole idea of family and uplifting the community together. So
what kind of other workshops do you do? I know you mentioned financing a little bit, maybe the networking, but what other ones? What are the workshops important for you?
Yeah, so we've done goal setting with students in the past. We've
What's
done goal setting, setting
goal
goals.
setting?
Yeah. We did one this year called an ikigai. So it's like a Japanese method of finding your purpose. And so we'll do vision boarding with the kids. We've done things around financial aid and FAFSA, like filling out the FAFSA. We've taken kids on college trips before. We've done resume stuff. Anything that you like kids ask for, we can kind of set up and do for them. So,
awesome.
Yeah,
it's amazing. Again, thank you very much for sharing.
Yeah,
I'm so glad Bree told me about you, and I was able to talk to you before the event. And I hope that we need more people to buy more tickets, por favor. So please have them available online at Eventbrite. I'm gonna put the link. I have them physically too. I have shout out to all the sponsors, vendors, and everybody that already supported. I got quite a bit of them. I want more, but we're running short on time for the deadline for that. I want for the vendors and sponsors, but whoever we got, we're so thankful for the ones we already got. Appreciate it very much. March 9th, 5 to 9 p.m. Professional Latinos Connecting. They're gonna be there, and we hope to raise more funds for you, so y'all can put it to work. And again, awesome.
Yeah.
Before I let you go, once again, all your social media presence, all your social media links, where can they find you at?
Yeah. So our Instagram is pretty active. It's at Los Primos Dallas. And our website is losprimosdallas.org.
Awesome.
And we're also on Facebook and all that stuff too. Yeah.
TikTok coming soon.
Yeah.
Just a couple videos.
Yeah.
Just a couple videos. You know what? I put a lot of clips on TikTok. I don't want to put the clips up because it's so much work.
It is.
To be on all of them. But I'm like, all these people on TikTok and just not just the kids. You think it's just the kids, but there's a bunch of older gentlemen, older ladies, and other people just putting in and sharing the stuff.
Yeah.
And you'll be surprised how fast some things can go very fast, very quickly, as far as very viral.
Yeah.
And you can get a lot more results immediately.
Yeah, we got to get on our TikTok game for sure.
You got your buckets ready. I got my buckets ready just in case anything happens. Hey, make us viral right now. And then we're good to go.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, it's just so beneficial for people to go in there and get informed.
Yeah,
it really is.
Kids research like financial aid information on there now.
Yeah.
Instead of Googling stuff, they'll go to TikTok and look for stuff. Mm-hmm.
It's becoming like fast. If it hasn't surpassed Google, it's really getting close to being one of the number one search engines. To find stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It really has.
I was really surprised, but I'm like, really? Y'all go to TikTok to look for like scholarships? They're like, yeah, you find a lot of stuff on there.
I found myself, because I used to find myself going to Google, but recently I've been finding myself going to TikTok.
I'll be looking for recipes on TikTok. I look for things to cook on TikTok.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
And it's so easy because it's like,
they show you,
quickly, It was just like, boom. So it makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I got to meet you real quickly again. All the social medias, that's where it's at, the website, where to go, make a donation there, and everything else they have going on. Awesome. So what is an important lesson that you learned doing Primos that you would tell your younger self that will help somebody else out? What would that be?
Be open to slow progress and things will happen when they're supposed to happen. Like, be patient. I think I would tell myself, because sometimes I feel like I should be doing more, but I'm like, then I look back, I'm like, man, I wasn't doing this a year ago. I wasn't doing this 2 years ago. So let's just say be patient with yourself. Things will come along. Yeah.
I like that because I need to hear that right now.
Yeah.
For the podcast. I'm just kidding. This was a little more deeper. I usually say something when I wake up throughout my day that I heard it a long time ago that I thought was very impactful for me, at least. I'm not immortal. I am mortal, and I will die one day. And that's just not to scare me, frighten me, terrorize me, or whatever. It's more like it's just part of life, right? What happens. But it makes me want to hurry up and do stuff, made me be actively doing things.
Yeah.
And just keep doing things, moving forward. With that, I wish you a long, prosperous life. However, when everything's said and done, what do you want people to think and feel about your life?
That I'm a good listener, and that like I'm all about like helping the kids. Like it's all about was it from The Simpsons? It's like, can someone just think of the children? Yeah.
I always quote that lady too. I do. Think about the children.
I'm that person. Yeah.
Yeah. It's important, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they will. And again, I'm so glad that I got to meet you and your spouse. And when she told me about you, like, it's great concept, started looking into it. But the story that you have as far as like just getting into that place where you were that kid at one time. You were the kid that was there in school trying to figure it out. And it's just crazy how mature you were at that time, because instead of seeing or being like, oh, look at those freaking kids spending daddy's card, instead of like, I'm so appreciative that I'm able to do this and let me get the most out of it, to be in where you're at right now and be able to help other kids that you saw that the struggles that you went through. So now you can help them even easier, have not an easy life, but guide them correctly to where they could be more productive people.
Yeah.
More productive Latinos, productive, Mexican Americans, Texicans, ¿cómo dijiste?
Texicana,
Texicanos, Texicanos. So it's amazing to me. And without a doubt, you definitely are a global Latin factor. So thank you very much for being here again. I appreciate your time. If you have not gone and followed them, go do so right now, because they're doing amazing things. They have, again, remind me of the 5K.
The 5K is on April 6th.
April 6th.
April 6th is coming up.
That is a Monday.
It's a Saturday. Yeah.
April 6th. On the website, you'll see a banner where you can click in and be part of it. And without a doubt, Alicia Serrato, you are a Global Latin Factor. Thank you very much for being here. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you so much.
This was another episode of the Global Latin Factor podcast. Remember to subscribe. Don't be playing no more. You watch too many free ones, all right? Remember to subscribe. And remember, we are just like you. We are people. We are the spice in this melting pot. Little this the world. Until next time.
Thank you very much for checking out this episode of the Global Latin Factor podcast. Make sure you go and subscribe to the channel and check out one of the other episodes that we have prepared for you. Thank you very much. Till next time.
Walks like a pedo, but in fact is a flamingo. Coming to Havana and